So you might be one of those people that managed to secure a PS5 recently because a year after release they're still surprisingly difficult to come by, or you're one of those pleb casuals that finally decided that the best way for you to experience PS5 gaming is through a reputable 3D audio headset. Well, say no more, it's Pixelated, and today we're going to be taking a look at a new version of the headset that initially released with the PS5 and was sold out for months after the PS5 released initially. It is the Pulse 3D headset, now in all black. I'm sure some of you were waiting for this colorway, especially since a lot of people didn't like the black and white original colorway of the PS5, and many companies like Dbrand released black plates or dark plates, or third-party sellers that sold black plates, and you guys secured those. I'm sure a lot of you were waiting for a headset like this to match the console. You already know this, but we as gamers, we take performance into account, but we also take looks into account when it comes to making our peripheral purchases. Now, while there are a plethora of options of what headset you can secure for your PlayStation 5, the Pulse 3D has the added benefit of being a proprietary PlayStation product, or a PPP, which means it has features that you can't get on any other headset for your PS5. Now, it's unfortunate that Sony doesn't allow access to some of these features to third-party sellers of headsets, but I'm sure they have their reasons. I mean, it's not like other companies don't do it either. Cough, Apple, cough. What this of course means is that we are going to get another round of rigorous testing to see what this headset can pull off on the PS5, whether it takes full advantage of that Tempest 3D audio engine, and whether it makes any improvements. Now, you may or may not have seen my review of the white and black Pulse 3D headset, which is the original headset that launched initially with the PS5, but since then Sony has made some updates and changes. Like, for example, now there's an EQ setting that you have access to that allows you to change the EQ profile of this headset. That wasn't available for a long time after launch, so my initial review of the Pulse 3D headset didn't cover that at all, so we're gonna get to cover that this time around. Now, before we get started, make sure to show some love to that like button. If you happen to enjoy the video at any point, make sure to be gentle with that subscribe button for more future videos, and make sure to clang that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. Alright, now let's get into the new and improved, or possibly the same, Pulse 3D headset. As with my previous reviews, we're going to go over certain categories like fit and audio quality. We're even going to look at some changes, but first, let's start with comfort. Okay, so starting with the comfort hasn't really changed from the original Pulse 3D headset, if at all. I mean, it's the exact same headset. Nothing has really changed here. The materials are exactly the same. If you watched my previous review, if you haven't, or if you watch other people's reviews, I'm pretty sure other people say the exact same thing about the comfort of this headset. It's par for the course for what you pay. It's not anything crazy, but there are some redeeming factors to this headset. For example, it's really lightweight, and it's very apparent how lightweight it is as soon as you hold it in your hand. The ear cups are really soft and cushy, but when you press down on them, they don't feel super dense, which kind of concerns me and makes me wonder if this will stand the test of time. Based on my previous experiences with other PlayStation headsets in the PS4 era, they've always stood the test of time, even though the cushion doesn't feel like it will. So my hope is that is exactly what's going to happen here. However, I have no guarantees in this regard. The only thing that's really of concern here is the leather ear cups right here. There are a few things that are a little nitpicky that I do have an issue with this headset, is that the ear cups don't swivel. So when you try to put it on, it's not going to completely contour to your head perfectly, although as you can see with the headband, there is a curve going along into the ear cups, so they don't go straight on your head like this. They kind of contour to your head already, but there isn't that little turn to help give you that even better fit. And while they don't feel bad when you have them on, after playing with the Arctis 7P for over a year, there's quite a bit of a difference. And the only real big concern I have here is how moist your ears get in a long gaming session, and that's just going to be an issue with any headset that has leather ear cups. With this headset, I feel like I might feel it just a little bit more just because it's a circular ear cup and it covers your ear in a different way than a normal ear cup that is oval would. However, again, moisture is par for the course with leather ear cups and long gaming sessions. Okay, moving on to the fit, this is where I talk about my favorite feature on this headset, and it is this automatically adjusting tension-based strap right here. Still my favorite part of this headset. I love that you don't have to adjust anything. You can just put it on and it automatically adjusts to your head. Now, the strap is made of rubber or some kind of silicone. It's not fabric, which means when you put it on, you do notice it a little bit more than, for example, the fabric strap on an Arctis 7P. And while it's a better alternative to feeling the actual headband of a headset on your head, after several hours of gaming, you do start to notice it a little, and I am not a fan of that. And my other issue with the fit of this headset is the circular ear cups. Of course, they make the headset look amazing, but as we all know, our ears are not circular. They're like this weird oval shape, and when you put these on, they're going to be pressing against your earlobe or another part of your ear depending how you put them on, but most likely pressing against your earlobe. And the longer your gaming sessions are, the more you'll notice the pressing on your earlobe, the pressing on your head with the headband, and the moisture building up. And again, some of these issues are issues that you will deal with other headsets if they have leather ear cups, but the circular ear cups is sort of a PlayStation issue right now. I haven't tested many other headsets that have circular ear cups, if any, for the PS5. Another thing that I do like about the fit of this headset though is that it doesn't have too strong of a clamping force, so it doesn't feel like it's crushing your skull. It's about the perfect amount. Now, a lack of clamping force is usually the reason for a headset to be swaying on your head when you turn your head around a little too rigorously, but in this case, even though the clamping force isn't too strong, you don't really see much sway even when I'm swiveling my head like a crazy person. Okay, moving on to the audio quality. Now, I gotta say the audio quality of this thing is pretty reminiscent of the original Pulse 3D headset. Again, this is a headset that really excels at playing to PS5 strengths. There's great 3D audio optimization on this thing. It's practically designed for the Tempest 3D audio engine, so it better do a good job, right? Now, here's where that prominent change in this headset will affect the review a lot more than the original Pulse 3D headset. And that comes with now having the possibility to adjust the EQ settings of the Pulse 3D headset. Now there is a signature sound to this headset. The highs are very clear, they're very crisp, they're very pronounced, but the lows are somewhat muted. The low range sounds such as bassy sounds like explosions, for example, or anything in the lower frequency registers just don't sound that great, or they sound a lot quieter than anything in the high frequencies. Now I tried some newer games as well as some older games on this headset to test for 3D audio as well as directional audio. For example, I tried Ghost of Tsushima and Returnal for 3D audio, as well as Death Stranding, and I also tried Warzone for the directional audio. And the performance of this headset was exactly the same as the original Pulse 3D headset. Of course, that goes without saying. However, now that there is the EQ adjustment feature, I feel like this headset has a little bit of an advantage over the Arctis 7P when playing games like Warzone. When I played Warzone on this headset, the directional audio with the EQ setting for shooter, there's a specific EQ setting for shooters for the Pulse 3D headset, and if you use that setting, the directional audio just sounds super crisp. I know where the enemies are coming from basically all the time. Now, of course, because Warzone is still a PS4 game, and that might change soon when Vanguard's Warzone map comes out, but for now it's still a PS4 game, so it's not taking full advantage of the 3D audio, so it's not always easy to tell when an enemy is above or below you, but it's easy to tell what direction they're coming from, and that shooter EQ setting is no joke. However, when playing single player story-driven games that are more of an experience rather than a competitive multiplayer game like Ghost of Tsushima or Returnal, I prefer to play with audio that's more immersive and it provides a more entertaining audio experience as opposed to something that's only designed to help you pinpoint where the enemies are. So I switch from the shooter EQ to the bass boost EQ, and that really helps me enjoy games like Returnal and Ghost of Tsushima much more. Of course, because 3D audio is still a thing, you can still tell where the enemies are coming from. I know where the Mongols are coming from in Ghost of Tsushima. Even if they're off camera, I know where the enemies are in Returnal, even if they're off camera, even with the bass boost EQ, but it just gives me a richer sound, something I enjoy more as opposed to just looking for where the enemies are. And because this headset doesn't really pronounce the low end that much, that bass boost EQ setting is very helpful. I gotta say, it's still not as good as other headsets when it comes to registering those low sounds. It's not bad, but again, the EQ can only do so much with limited hardware. Whatever the hardware is in here, it's not designed to pronounce those lower end sounds. Now again, a reminder that the 3D audio in the PS5 is software based, the Tempest 3D audio engine, which means that the 3D audio is applied to basically any hardware that you use with the PS5. However, there are certain headsets that are designed to take more advantage of the 3D audio than other headsets. And another reminder that the EQ setting on the PS5 is only available on the Pulse 3D headset, even if there are other headsets that claim that they're PS5 3D audio compatible, and they might as well be, they probably are. They're still not going to get the system integration. They won't get the EQ feature setting that this headset has. Another reminder that the EQ adjustment feature is only available on the Pulse 3D headset as well on the PS5. That includes the original colorway. It doesn't matter what colorway you get. They both have the EQ feature setting, but you're not going to get that with any other headset on the PS5. At least not integrated into the PS5. Of course, as we always do, we're going to accompany the audio quality test with a mic quality test. So let me send you over to the mic quality test right now. Alright, so this is the mic test for the Pulse 3D headset in black. This headset, the internals of this headset are probably exactly the same as the white and black Pulse 3D headset that originally released alongside the PlayStation 5. I read somewhere that someone said it sounds like you're talking into a can, and they couldn't have been more accurate. Sony decided to go with this inbuilt
built-in mic design. So the mic is built into the headset. There's nothing protruding out of it. They obviously did this for aesthetics, but it does come with a few compromises. A few of those compromises include sounding hollow and sounding a little bit distant from the mic, which obviously isn't a pleasant situation for the people listening to you as well. It's not one of those situations where you can't make out what people are saying. I do have friends that use the Pulse 3D headset and I play with them online. I can still make out what they're saying. Communication is not an issue, but it's very apparent who's using the Pulse headset just based on the mic quality alone. Let's just say it's not a good thing. I will say this though, Sony opted for a dual mic situation that allows for better noise cancellation, and this thing cancels noise a lot better than the Arctis 7P, which is still my favorite PlayStation headset to this day. Let me do a quick test to show you what I'm talking about. Type it on a keyboard. So as you can see, you can barely hear me typing on the keyboard, if at all, until I start typing really loudly, and no one really types. Okay, some people probably type that loud. Same with the mouse, you don't hear the clicking that much until I start clicking really loudly and try to emphasize it on purpose.
Okay, that was the mic test for the Pulse 3D headset. Moving on to the features. Now the features are largely unchanged from the PS5 Pulse 3D audio headset, the original one that was in white and black. And when I say largely unchanged, I mean nothing has changed. It's exactly the same. Power switch, we have 3.5mm audio jack for wired audio connectivity. We have a USB-C port for charging. We have a mute and unmute button that clicks in and clicks out. We have the volume rocker. We have a monitor switch that doesn't really allow you to change the volume. So if you want to monitor your own voice, there's only one volume for that. If you don't like what Sony implemented for the volume for the monitor, just turn it off. That's all you can do. And then we have the highly revered game chat mixer. Again, we have another Sony exclusive feature on this headset, and that is the system integration, which means when you adjust the game chat mixer, when you adjust the volume rocker, when you mute or unmute the headset, you're going to get different indicators on the screen letting you know just how much of anything you've done. For example, how high your volume is, or just how much of the game or chat you've mixed into, or when the mic is mute or unmute, you get a little pop-up and it disappears. You're not going to get that system integration with any other headset on the PS5 unless Sony release another PS5 headset other than the Pulse 3D headset. So if that system integration is integral to you, then this is probably the only headset you can go for, or the white and black version of the same headset. Now, when it comes to battery life, the box claims that this headset has 12 hours of battery life. If that's truly the case, then that's better than the original white and black one, because for me, the white and black one lasted about 6 to 7 hours before it needed a charge. I haven't been able to test this one. I'm sure there are other reviews that have tested the battery life, but if it truly does go to 12 hours, then that's better than the original. That's perfect for a very long gaming session or a handful of shorter ones. Not great if you have a week-long vacation, because obviously play one day from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. it's done. You gotta keep charging it. Thankfully it has USB-C charging. Take note, SteelSeries. Now moving on to pricing, the retail price of this headset is $129.99 Canadian dollars, which is in line with the original Pulse 3D headset. No discount, no premium, which makes sense. It's the exact same headset. It's a very reasonable price if you ask me for the features and the sound quality that you get. Of course, considering you're going to get certain features that are exclusive to this headset and you won't get on any other headset for the PS5, like the game and voice chat mixer, as well as the EQ settings and the system integration. Now, this headset makes a few compromises to prioritize design over comfort, and the audio quality could be improved. However, there's a reason why this headset is considered a more affordable option as opposed to $180 plus headsets. It's like Sony had a discussion on whether to make this headset more affordable versus more performance heavy, and they found a good middle ground. Okay, moving on to the design, this is still one of my favorite parts of this headset. After many headset releases, even overall preferring a different headset to the Pulse 3D overall, for me, the Pulse 3D still holds a special place in my heart for its design. It's got round ear cups, which are not common on headsets, for good reason, because our ears aren't round, but it just makes the Pulse 3D stand out and look more symmetric and bold. It has this almost avant-garde, futuristic, swooping design, not unlike the PS5 itself, that is just so intriguing to look at. Then we have this solid lightweight headband that seamlessly swoops out of the ear cups as if it's materializing out of thin air. And a subtle change on this headset that you won't see on the original white and black headset is that there is this glossy trim that goes along the edges of the headband, on both sides, adding a little premium feel and finish to the entire package. Now, while it's of little consequence, I do appreciate that Sony took that little bit of time to see where they could slightly improve this headset, even if it was just visually, to give it a more premium feel. This particular colorway of the Pulse 3D headset, the all black colorway, is not for me, mainly because I would prefer the white and black version, just because my entire desk theme is based on a white and black theme. I also like the black and white PS5 better than the all black PS5, which unofficial all black PS5. But for those of you who prefer the all black PS5 or got the dark plates or black plates for your PS5 from a third-party vendor and want the Pulse 3D headset to match, this one is right down your alley. Now, there is one huge downside to this design, and it's the fact that they put all the sliders and buttons and volume rockers on one ear cup. Now look, I get it, this means that you just have to lift one hand up to control all your settings, but it just makes it that much more confusing. Having used the original Pulse 3D headset for months and using this one, I still have trouble finding the volume rocker. Every time I try to adjust the settings, I'm always looking for which one is which. And this is honestly where the system integration comes in handy. It almost feels necessary for this headset because all the buttons and switches and everything is on one ear cup. Now, it's pretty clear Sony pulled out all the stops when it comes to design this generation. Whether you love it or hate it, the PS5 is a piece of art, in my opinion. Now, everyone doesn't have to like it for it to be that way, and that's the point of art. It can be very polarizing. But the Pulse 3D headsets are just another testament to Sony's design ethos this generation and are arguably just as artistically inspired. It's almost like two pieces of, well, a two-piece puzzle. Okay, moving on to the ultimate pros and cons. Starting off with the pros, the first pro for this headset is the price. It's cheaper than most high-end wireless headsets with similar feature sets. I mean, this even has PlayStation exclusive features that you're only going to get with this headset, as I've mentioned earlier before several times. Next pro is it has USB-C charging, which you would think is mandatory by now, or you would think is the standard by now, but some headsets still don't have it. So yeah, USB-C, fast charging. Okay, the next pro is aesthetics. Probably the most important pro. Okay, second most important pro, obviously audio quality comes first, but if you're going for this headset, you're probably partially doing it for the looks because this thing goes hand in hand with the PS5 when it comes to aesthetics. The next pro is the game chat mixer, which you're only going to get with this headset for the PS5, so if you need that thing, this is the headset to go for. And finally, the last and probably the most impressive pro for this headset is the seamless fit design. It's honestly a marvel to look at. The fact that you don't need to adjust this headset in any way to put it on. It automatically adjusts to your head no matter what head shape you have. You just put it on and it figures out how much tension it needs. It's such an innovation. I haven't seen this on any other headset, and I think it's easily one of the best reasons to own this headset. Okay, moving on to the cons. The first con is the battery life. Now, 12 hours isn't bad. That's what it says on the box. If it lasts 12 hours, that's pretty good. My previous Pulse 3D headset only lasted about 7 hours. Either way, the battery life isn't horrendous, but majority headsets on the market right now last much longer than that, and this could be improved in future iterations, but I suspect that is what allows this headset to be lighter, and if the battery life is increased in the future, it will probably cause the headset to become heavier. The next con is the compromise it makes on comfort with these round ear cups. Now, we haven't evolved as a species with round ears yet, so round ear cups are pretty much a no-no when it comes to comfort. Sure, they look great, but they do add a little bit of that nuance of reducing the comfort on the headset. Another con with this headset is that if the battery dies and you want to keep playing, you connect it with a 3.5mm audio jack, none of the features on the headset are going to work. So the entire prospect of this headset is rendered useless if you're using it via a wire. And my last con is the audio quality. Now, don't get me wrong, the audio quality is great for 3D audio. It performs well, but just the overall audio quality is not there. It's lacking a lot of those low ends to give you a more immersive experience, like when you want to play a single player story driven game as opposed to something more competitive. Of course, the EQ settings help a little bit to alleviate that, but there's only so much you can do with somewhat limited hardware design. Now, another unofficial test I like to do is to see if the headphones play music well. And these headphones, while you can listen to music on them, it's not the best experience. Sound is good for general gaming, but for something that costs over 100 Canadian dollars, I would hope that the sound was a little bit better. So here we are at the end of the review for the Pulse 3D headset in black with the new features, the EQ settings. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought about this headset. Let me know what you thought about the new features. Do you own a pair? Are you gonna get a pair? Are you still trying to get a PS5? Let me know in the comments. I'll catch you in the next one. Pixelated has a pulse.